Vinny, so obviously with your prowess in jiu-jitsu and the submissions you racked up for the season, are you concerned at all that he might think your game is predictable for New Year's Eve?
It is actually. I just want to take him to the ground and get a submission. There's no secret on that. So he knows exactly what I want to do, and I'm going to look to do it.
Is there anything you're worried about from him as far as like being not able to grab him or being overly mobile?
I wouldn't say like anything specifically about him, but like here's the thing: like most guys that fight me, they expect me to once they get to the ground, and they know that I have a huge advantage when it comes to that kind of game, and so I expect to try to shut that down. The one risk factor is always like a power punch. But then again, when it comes down to that, even like any guy my size, including myself, can make that happen. So when it comes down to like being lucky, you don't want both of us actually can be lucky on the department. I can land a good shot, I can drop him. Just like you land a good shot, you can drop him. So it's one of those things. It's like I cannot be worried about what he's gonna do. Just about me bringing myself like my best game. And be able to perform the way I've been doing throughout the season.
Yeah, he's been somebody that's come from almost losing and then finishing his opponent this season. So obviously, keeping on the ground is more safer for you. Are you worried about him working his defense or anything like that?
Well, I'm sure he's working his defense. Like a guy who's gonna train for like 7 weeks now, 10 weeks since our last fights or 11, something like that. Anyways, and he knows he's gonna be fighting a guy who's especially in jiu-jitsu. Like all he's probably doing right now is trying to work in his ground game, work on his defense, make sure he can shut down some of my best submission. But here's the thing too, like I'm not a guy who's limited to one submission or another. Like I'm able to fight off my back. I'm able to fight from top. If you're gonna get a takedown, as long as I'm in the clinch, I can pull somebody down like from pulling guard, and I can make things work from there. Again, man, like I'm not worried about what he's gonna do because like this whole season, I've been trying to like do my best in every single area. Every fight I've attempted to get in the clinch, some guys are clinching up with me even without me having to force that thing to happen. Just because I'm kicking hard, I'm trying to punch, and I'm being the aggressor, even standing up. So I'm forcing people to want to like engage into like a grappling exchange, and that's like so hard for these guys who've been in mistakes. As far as Sean, like you mentioned, like he's being like. Almost started every single fight actually like on the bad side of it. He got dominated by Ronnie Marcus first round. Probably was a 10-8 round, like my opinion that could possibly be a 10-8 round. Then he went there second round, got a KO. Second fight, he got finished. Third fight, he was losing. He lost first round, he was able to change and get a 10-8 and he won the fight. He ended up like winning that fight. Even though this Medina Rama fight was a quick fight, he was also getting dominated. With that first video, he was getting dominated. Boom, one punch. Now, he gets the win. So it's one of those things I do have to respect his power because he's being able to change like the fights, even though he started losing every single one of them. And so that makes me want to be respectful, like respect his power. But at the same time, I believe he should respect him too because I'm actually completely the opposite side. I have not been on the bad side yet. He's been extremely dominant like this season. So I'm sure he has a lot more person than I have.
Thank you.
Vinny, Ray spoke very highly of you yesterday. So how does that make you feel having the man of the organization not only be in the same camp as you, but speak so highly of you?
Well, it's one of those things, like, there would be pressure if I wasn't training as hard as he's saying I'm training, but I am. I've known Ray for like 10 years, and what he's saying, like, I can confirm, like, Ray has never seen me train the way I'm training right now. I would be one of those guys that would go to pro practice, and that's one session a day, right? Maybe I would be doing something else, like hitting pads that same day. Maybe I would go like do strength conditioning, and that would be my day, like 2 sessions, 1 hard session, and 1 like half-fast session. Now, like I do like 3 hard sessions a day. Some days I do like 4 if I count like lifting weights. So it's like one of those things. I'm just like dedicating myself completely different than I've been doing for the last 10 years. So when you do that and people compliment you, like it doesn't put any pressure on you. Actually, just confirm what you're doing, so it actually gives you confidence.
Now, turning the clock back, do you still speak to any of the tough teammates of yours?
It's funny. So this month and this year, it's been like 10 years since we fought the finale. It was on December 13th. That was the finale day. And we actually got the group message. We texted every single one of us. And then I talked to Ryan Bader. He's like he's fighting for like his second time now in Bellator. So it was pretty cool that you got that exchange and you're talking about how even though like 10 years later, you're still like doing something in sport. So it's pretty cool. As a matter of fact, 2 months apart, I'm fighting for $1 million in Florida title, and Vegas fighting for your second title belt, which could translate into $1 million or more for himself as well. So it's like, it's exciting, man. It's cool to know that all friends are doing well too.
Vinny, in our interview a couple of weeks ago, you talked about that you make people make mistakes. Have you seen anything, and if you watch a video on Sean, that he's wide open for mistakes on the ground?
As I said to you, I've been used to competing against high-level guys. So when it comes to the ground game, I'm not going to bring just some basic that everybody can be able to count. I have to get myself ready to compete against high-level guys when I go into rapid competition. I still have to make those submissions happen. I still have to make those guard passes happen. I still have to make things happen and be able to control those guys. I'll give an example. When I competed beginning of the year against Gardner Ryan, the guy's now everybody thinks he's the best rapper in the world. I trained for a month for that match, and I was to be able to pass his guard. I didn't do a whole lot in that match, but I was able to control and not be at risk at any point in that match. So now I come down to Sean. It's well, he can't train in submission defense, but is he gonna make his jiu-jitsu game from being a blue belt level, whatever level it is? I want to be judging his ground skills to a high level black belt. It's not gonna happen with 10 mixed period. I watched him fight against Ronnie, who got dominated. I believe that even though Ronnie's my teammate, I believe that if I was a guy in those situations, having his back, having mount, having side control, I would have gotten submission. So it's one of those things. You cannot make those same mistakes against me. Otherwise, again, I'm gonna force the mistakes to happen, and I'm gonna submit.
Also, you told me that you loved the format, that it kept you, in camp all the time. It got you to your best level, well-roundedness, and you liked the format. When the PFL first came to you with this idea of a season, of a league, fighting every 6 weeks or so, what were your original thoughts? Were you excited for it, kind of, unsure?
PFL, everybody when people talk about PFL, everybody thinks money first. That $1 million that you don't get any out of the promotion. For it to make let's say UFC, to make that $1 million, you're just a guy that's top 15. That could have been actually 5 to 10 years of fighting in the promotion to make that $1 million. If there's a big AF2, you might not even make that much money. So that's really tempting when it comes down to money. That that makes you want to do it. Now you think about it. Well, if I want to make that money, I have to do my best, right? So I'm gonna go have fast, otherwise I'm gonna go too far in this competition. But then you start to think of everything else that's gonna happen for this as well. But now I also have fights back to back. You don't have that space to allow yourself to change, which was happening before to me.
Right.
Since I had standard contracts where you would have a fight, and then maybe 4 months later the promotion would call you, want to get this fight now. With the PFL, you had a set schedule since day one, so you knew how much time you could take off, which I decided not to take any time off, and that makes things so much easier. It's similar to what I was doing jiu-jitsu back then.
Right.
Just doing jiu-jitsu. I would have a full schedule for whatever year I was competing, and I knew that I'm competing, let's say, Brazilian Nationals now. I know that 2 weeks later I'm gonna have a Rio State Championship or something like that, and I'm well, I gotta stay in shape. I can take time off, so Monday we're back in the gym. So pretty similar to what happened so far since the PFL. I had the first fight, 6 weeks later we're gonna be fighting again. So there's no days off. You can't take time off because you take 1 day off. Now you start to relax. It turns into 3 days, 1 week when you sit, 2 weeks off. Now you have 4 weeks to prepare yourself. You don't know how bad out of shape you went by this time they took off. So I decided not to take time off. It worked out so far really well for me.
I mean, speaking of money, you've fought at the highest levels. You've been in the UFC. You've been in M1. Did you ever envision that you would eventually get a chance to fight for $1 million on one night?
The funniest thing is I've always been a competitor. I've always wanted to achieve the highest level, everything I've done. Of course, like I said, maybe I've not dedicated myself the way I should have to reach the highest level, especially in the beginning of my career, even towards now. And then, you don't think that the right amount. Of course, when you think, well, if I become a champion in the UFC, I'm gonna make good money.
Yeah.
If I become a champion, whatever promotion, if I can keep defending my titles, I'm gonna make good money. But you definitely never think about, well, I'm gonna go to this new promotion, potentially within 6 months, make $1 million. That's something you just not even think happen.
Thank you.
Vinny, what does it mean to you to fight in an iconic arena like Madison Square Garden, especially on New Year's Eve? Can you speak on that?
It's funny, It's just like any other fight. Of course, maybe later, after I got done with the fight, and I'm gonna think a lot more of that. But like any fight, it's the same thing. I could have been fighting like down the street from my house, and fighting Madison Square Garden for me is the same thing. There's not like extra pressure, but there's also not extra excitement. For me, it's just about the fight, really. I don't care what I'm fighting. I don't care if it's gonna be like 15,000 people. It's gonna be like 5 people watching the fight. For me, it's what's happening. Like it's between me and Sean. I didn't even think of the referee until he touched me, tried to stop the fight. I didn't even think of any of that. It's about like listening to my coaches a little bit because I'm not a good listener either. I do a lot of like what's like what I see that's happening during the fight, but it's about me and Sean like through this whole week. Maybe like day after, maybe like minutes later, I'm gonna be I just want to fight. I just made $1 million in Madison Square Garden, and that's gonna really hit. But right now,